everyone, Joe here from ActionX, and welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back if this is your fourth DC Stargirl episode review. Can't believe it's already been 4 weeks since we started this, and to be completely frank with you, it doesn't even feel like 4 weeks. God, has this time period really felt very long, very drawn out, and it also feels very, I don't know, what other word I can use? Anywho. But anyway, I wanted to apologize if you are coming back for your 4th episode review about last week because of everything that was going on with the Black Lives Matter movement. We thought it here best at ActionX. If you haven't watched the slate of the channel, you haven't seen us on Twitter, we basically talked about how, because even though no matter what our consistent view count is, no matter what these episode reviews, the unboxings, all of our content, it mixes and matches. Basically, we just want to allow the people who have much more to say and has much more things to talk about and support, and get this all more focused, honed in. So we opted to delay all of our content to allow that, and this was not planned. But then again, nothing is planned in the world, so we have to adjust and adapt as we see accordingly. So I apologize if the last Stargirl episode review was very much like literally as soon as the next one comes in, our review on the last one came live. Hopefully, depending on the world, that will not be the case going forward in the rest of the season 1 run. But I apologize again. I gotta owe up to what we had to do, but then again, I think we still did the right move here, and now things are starting to get more back to normal. Not I'm gonna screw myself over here. I apologize. Basically, forget what I said in the last 30 seconds. I'm sorry. I'm just saying that things just seem to be I think the message has been cut across, and now we're able to resume with whatever everyone else is planning, because we can't really delay this any further. But I don't want to get into that right now. So anyway, this week we're talking about Stargirl episode 4, and honestly, hands down, this may have been this is a character building episode, and I gotta say it's so far my favorite episode of the series so far. It focused more on the characters, even more so than the last 3 weeks combined. It gave more backstory to one of them, as well as advanced the plot minorly forward, but it does, this was still just a character piece. This was growing our current character, figuring out more about them, and then also how do we see things change and get affected by. So, and I really like this episode, I really do. The dynamic that Courtney and Yolanda had this week was the primary focus. We rarely got scenes outside of those core two, and honestly it made for a stronger episode. We get to really see these two start to really develop their connection, and hopefully we'll see more of that as the rest of the season to come. And it does go to show that I really love this episode. I think this was probably the best episode of the season so far. But anyway, let's get down to it. Let's talk about it more specifically. I think I cut myself, which thankfully I did not, but I was scared because I've had a history of getting scratches and cut marks all over my hands thanks to my cat, or just whatever happens in the world. Anyway, let's go through the butchered recap and see what we can uncover this week. So we begin with a flashback. Let's head back. It's 3 months ago, before Courtney and her family moves to Blue Valley. We see Yolanda, and we pretty much get to see a whole different Yolanda than we saw on the show currently. We see her being semi-popular. We see her in a typical Hispanic household, a loving family. She's running for student president. She has a boyfriend, Henry, Brainwave's son. Wink, wink. They're together. It seems like Yolanda's living the best high school life that she can, and everything seems to be going well enough. That girl we saw, the ass chick, the asshole. I don't even want to say the other thing, but anyway, the girl that really is not likable in school, even by today's standards and by current present day standards. She's clearly being set up as a rival here. And where did I go from there? Oh yeah, we see that, and it seemed like besides that, Yolanda is living the best life. So we're slowly trying to still figure out, even though I pretty much kind of assembled it, we don't really know how did Yolanda get from this to where we saw her in the first episode of Stargirl. And then so we cut to that, and then we see Yolanda at home studying, doing some homework, and she gets a text from Henry Jr., asking her, like, yo, I miss you. Hey, can you send me over some pictures? And clearly that means nude pictures. Yolanda, like, honestly, this is a high school thing. This does happen in high school. This never really became an issue when I was going to high school, but this is something that, like, it is prevalent in some high schools where, you know, there's always that naked leaked photo of a girl or a guy and, you know, kind of causes that. You gotta see where I'm going here. So Yolanda, I'm sorry to say, stupidly thought that, oh, he's a good guy. He won't do anything wrong with the picture besides, you know, use it for himself. So she sends him a topless picture of herself, and like clockwork, the next day at school during the presidential debate for the school, everyone gets the photo, and yeah, that kind of destroys everything about Yolanda's life, and we kind of, you know, get to see her regress and change to the person she is now as we cut back to present day, where Courtney is still trying to, like, now she has the costumes of all the Justice Society members, well, most of them that she was able to get her hands on. Now she's got to find the new members. She needs to find her team. So she's looking around. She decides, you know what? I can't really talk to the adults in this town, so let me go talk to another teenager who also doesn't know how to be a superhero. But guess what? I got no choice. We need to take down the Injustice Society. So I'm just going to scroll through this yearbook that I'm pretty sure is very outdated, and I don't know why she would use a yearbook, considering the fact yearbooks generally are more focused on the people who have already graduated, but I guess, I don't know, whatever. So Courtney's going through that typical Whitmore family household dysfunctionality. Mike the kid is still wants his Pop-Tarts. Pat is trying to be a good stepdad, and the mom is just there. Basically, business as usual. Courtney's still trying to be distant. Not because she doesn't like anyone, but because she needs to now focus on finding the new members of the Justice Society. Pat tries to stop her for a little bit, tries to, like, reconsole her besides with his decision last week. But Courtney seems to just write that off and heads off to school. And then I believe, I don't know what scene we got next, but I think I'm just screw it because I think this was a random one-off scene, to be honest with you. So we got back to the Injustice Society's HQ. Icicle's back in there, and he meets the Dragon King. I think his name is, like, this. The VFX on this guy is very good for, like, TV effects. Like, you can just see the eyes of the dragon, and I don't mean Richard Dragon from Arrow. I just mean, like, the eyes are just, like, so well done, and the costume design was actually pretty smart because, like, you get to save money and, you know, not be able to, like, really, you know, go crazy on the design. So honestly, that was a cool design moment, and we got a lot of shots at the Injustice Society portrait, and I kind of realized, like, oh shit, there are more members than I thought, because you see the outline of Solomon Grundy. You see some other characters in the background that are not really pictured in. So it's like, fuck, there are more villains out there that we don't know about yet. So that's kind of scary. But anyway, besides that one scene, which I'm pretty sure will play some importance later on in the series, but this was just, I guess this was just trying to continue that the Injustice Society are still trying to do things, even though they're not really prevalent this week. So back at the school, Courtney is looking for the yearbook. She's trying to find, like, potential candidates, and ironically she finds pages on Yolanda, and then Yolanda conveniently appears in front of her. She accidentally hits Henry Jr., but however his girlfriend, the other popular chick, noticed the bumping and assumes that, oh, they're flirting, they're trying to hook up again, like, I gotta establish my authority and, you know, keep my place in my current society because I worked so hard to be like that. That's fucking bullshit. Again, she's trying to start problems with Yolanda. Yolanda's trying to be quiet, not to try to, you know, cause any more issues on herself. Courtney once again steps in, this time really not standing down from her. However, thanks to the school bell, it kind of dissipates and everyone just separates. And so Courtney just doesn't really know what to do. We come back to Pat's body shop where he finds the wife of the magician dude and the son that died tragically last week, waiting for him. She has some car trouble. It's also been, like, very weird to be out of the house, you know, or be home without either her husband or her son there. So, and also I feel very sorry for this woman because she has lost her whole world. Like, she lost the man she loved and her son in one day. Honestly, I feel so sorry for her. I don't even know what she's feeling of right now, but she says that, oh, my car's not working well, I don't know what to do. So Pat offers to help her out and fix it. very typical Pat thing to do. We come back to the school. Courtney is in the workout gym, and she sees Yolanda really punching it into like this bag of her, and then I think Courtney gets this epiphany that, hey, this girl knows how to punch. I think she'll be a perfect candidate for one of the Justice Society members. But she tries to convince her, like, hey, why don't you come over to my house? I can explain to you more about, maybe trying to be friends or anything, trying to lure her in. Yolanda's not really having it. Apparently also Yolanda doesn't have her phone anymore, which, as a parent / Hispanic person, I'm honestly not surprised. I feel like that is an appropriate punishment considering the fact of what she did with her phone. So I guess that's all right, I guess. But beyond that, so Courtney decides, here's my address. Come over for dinner. Let's talk about this. And Yolanda said, I'll think about it. Yolanda goes home, and also during the flashback scene, we get to see Yolanda's perfect family life, where our family's supportive of her, like everyone loves her. And then we cut back to this present day, and Yolanda's mom was like very cold to her, blatantly like, no, you can't leave, no, stay home, you're still grounded. So yeah, Yolanda doesn't get to go. And then I think the next day, that night, Courtney obviously realizes she's not showing up. She reads the yearbook more, and she finds out that Yolanda and Henry Jr. were in a relationship. And considering the fact Courtney kind of blew up his car a few weeks ago, I think she could deduce that, oh, wait a minute, I think I have a connection here. So the next day, she goes back to the school, sees Yolanda. Yolanda tries to push her away. However, she does. Courtney tells her that, hey, listen, I kind of blew up your ex's car. So if I'm the enemy of your enemy, then doesn't that kind of make you my friend? And Yolanda is very neutral about that fact, considering the fact that she's trying not to hate Courtney, but she kind of has to, since after what was done to her was honestly, at that age, the most life-shattering moment you can have. Like, one of the most life-shattering moments that you can have, because, I mean, if you really think about it, you are entitled to privacy in your life. Everyone has an entitlement to privacy, whether that is the basic levels, or if you really just don't want anyone else to know about any aspect of your life, you have that right to concede that inside you. But when that, like, your most private part of your body, that one of your most private parts, that honestly should only be saved for people you want to, love in your future, or maybe just want to hook up with, are the only people who should be seeing that. And the fact that everyone in the school knows and saw that, it kind of just destroys all privacy you have left in your world. And so, despite also Yolanda's family being distant to her and her friends giving up on her, and Yolanda is just like, she is a very far cry to where she was before. So I'm not surprised that she had to adapt and like be this more colder person, because like she doesn't want to trust anyone else again. So she starts crying because like she's getting the memories about that the last 3 months back in her mind. Courtney's trying to like console her and saying that, listen, you are brave as hell for still coming to school every single day. A lot of other people would have just quit school and just moved away or just be homeschooled for the rest of their life. No, you're still here every single day, despite the fact everyone knows what you look like. But that doesn't affect you, and you're brave for that. And I think that finally seeps into Yolanda a little bit, and it's like, okay, maybe I can trust this girl a little bit more. And so Courtney asks her, do you want to see how I destroyed your ex's car? And then Yolanda's like, yeah. Which just confuses me, considering the fact that, wasn't it like last night your mom blatantly told you can't leave and do anything outside? But she says fuck it. She decides to go regardless. And what was I going to say next? Oh yeah. So we come back to the Whitmore house, where Courtney is showing her the cosmic staff and explaining everything about Starman, the Justice Society of America, all that sort. Basically, like, here's the thing that it's pretty fun and also kind of stupid in my opinion, for especially like teenagers. Let's think about it. Like, you only just recently discovered this all for yourself like a few weeks ago, and this person you are just trying to communicate with, you're just blatantly telling them, here's all the secrets, here's the identities, here's the powers, here's everything. And Yolanda honestly is kind of scared, but it's also like she's also very curious about the matter. And of course, Courtney does bring up the fact that she has to find a new, like, more people to be part of this cause, the next generation, so to speak. And then she decides to give Yolanda the Wildcat suit. And at first, it's kind of like bulky and it's kind of, smelly because apparently, I guess Pat forgot to wash it before he put it on display. I don't know. I don't know what goes on in Pat's mind some of the times. And then magically, once she puts on the cowl, it suddenly has this like Spider-Man Homecoming moment where it's like the costume just now magically morphs to like fit Yolanda's body perfectly to a T. Courtney gets immediately impressed, and then they start doing a Shazam moment of training where it's like, let's go on Wikipedia and look up your powers. It's like, okay, sure. Like, yeah, there's a whole Wikipedia page about Wildcat. Okay, sure. Let's just go with it. Let's just go with it. My tea is still very much hot, so I can't drink more of it. But, yeah, so we see Wildcat's powers. We see that the claws are very sharp. They can cut through most metal. The suit gives her acrobatic abilities, always lands on her feet. I forget what other powers they get. Basically, she's like a cat. Basically, she has the claws of a cat, very sharp, and the agility of a cat. So that's pretty cool. And so there's that for one last, like, very super heroic moment. Let's have you jump off a building and see if you can land without any incident. For obviously a brief moment, Yolanda's like, hell no, I ain't doing this shit. I mean, you're looking this shit up on Wikipedia. Anyone can edit anything on Wikipedia. And she clearly has a point on the matter. But however, Yolanda then does have another epiphany moment. It's like, I've been scared to do things for 3 months. This changes tonight. And like, she's literally about to jump over the building. But then she gets that last momentarily fear in her that like, I can't do this. I can't do this. So they walk back down the stairs. They head back down, and Courtney's trying to fill her in about some other stuff about being a hero, about all that sorts. And then they duck when they see Henry Jr. driving across the way, supposedly going to the hospital. And then Courtney fills her in like, oh yeah, his dad is like one of the Injustice Society members. He's brainwave. And Yolanda says the most funniest thing about Henry Jr. It's like, it makes sense. It makes total sense, which is kind of funny. But anyway, but Yolanda has this very like actually smart idea. It's like, well, if he's an Injustice Society member, wouldn't other members go to see him? So it's like, and they have to write a visitor's log because no matter what, they have to log in when they're going into the hospital. So it's like, bingo, we can figure out the other identities there, or at least get a list, or like reduce the list. So it's like perfect solution. So they head to the hospital. Courtney will create the distraction while Yolanda, barely able to use her powers, has to now climb this 7-foot, like 9-foot building to get into a room in order to get the visitor's log. And keep in mind, this woman barely had any training under her belt, and Courtney just expects her, no, just climb the damn building. I'm like, Courtney, you're really just letting people just assume, like, oh, you have the costume on, you're good to go. I'm like, God damn it, no, she's not. I mean, maybe a house is different, but you're telling her the scale of building. Anyway, basically, this is where I call this the Spider-Man moment from Spider-Man 1, where it's like she's slowly being able to climb the walls for the first time, and it's like that moment was like she's realizing, oh, she can do this. She has this ability. She smiles, and it gave me so many flashbacks to when Tobey Maguire did it back in 2002, and it's like, wow. Like, I know this is like two completely different characters in two different contexts, but it just gives Yolanda like that one of that confident boost she needs to like, I can do this. I can do this. And however, as typical novice superhero fashion, one of the bricks is too much for the claws to break through, so she starts to fall down. She manages to catch herself, but then she sees one of the cleaning guys or security some worker from the hospital leaving for the night, and he sees the brick. But guess who conveniently shows up just to like distract him long enough so that Yolanda can just get through? It's Beth. Remember Beth, the girl who always just likes talking to her parents instead of making friends? Yeah, she's apparently visiting her mom for dinner, and yeah, but thankfully that encounter was enough for Yolanda to get through to the 7th floor and is able to like get into the hospital undetected. Meanwhile, Courtney wants to shut off the power so she can give Yolanda the a lights out moment so she can go find the the login sheet. But obviously, again, Yolanda makes a very simple response. Like, wait, hold on. There are people on life support here. If you disconnect that power system, they're going to die. And it's like, wow, I just realized that like Courtney was going to was down to kill like 5, like maybe a lot of people. It's like, I know that she didn't mean it, but it's like, that should have crossed your mind. Like, you're in a hospital and you're disconnecting the power. Like, people are going to die just to get some names that may or may not lead to the Injustice Society. So in response, the Cosmic staff decides to lay a wreck on the maintenance room. And then that gives Yolanda enough time to go retrieve the sign-in sheet, which she does, thankfully. However, while Yolanda's trying to escape, she accidentally goes into Brainwave's room where Henry Jr. is also at. And Yolanda, for a brief moment, says, you know what? I'm just going to kill him. I'm just going to scratch his back out, just teach him a lesson. But once Henry Jr. was starting to speak about how he misses his dad and has this emotional breakdown, Yolanda has a change of heart and decides to not attack her. Also, the claws clearly made a noise when they were activated. Shouldn't Henry Jr. just, like, look behind him and say, well, what the hell was that noise? Like, if I was in that hospital and I heard, like, I'm like, I'm turning the fuck around. I'm not trying to get crashed by Sabretooth or even the Wolverine or anything. Like, I ain't trying to die today. Hell no. So Henry Jr. leaves the room. Yolanda and Stargirl are about to leave, and then someone else enters the room. They both manage to hide, and it turns out to be their principal doing a weird violin solo for some weird reason. And it's kind of a weird moment because, like, here we have this principal who we did not expect to be even related to Brainwave, and she just shows up, plays a violin, it doesn't do anything to him, and then she just leaves. So, like, that was just kind of creepy. So anyway, they retreat. However, Courtney does, again, another stupid heroine 101. You don't say your partner's civilian name in public, because guess what? Stargirl says Yolanda in the middle of the outside, and guess who hears it? Beth hears it, so now she's confused, like, Yolanda? What is she climbing a building in a tight suit? So we come back to the Whitmore household, and Courtney's like very dead set, like, we got this list, but how does the principal got involved in this? Now we got to investigate, we got to figure all this out. However, Yolanda says that while tonight was probably the best amount of fun and the most activity she's gotten out in months, she's not ready to be Wildcat. She doesn't think she can be the next Wildcat because she's been living the last 3 months trying to be away from being herself, her old self, and it doesn't feel right for her to become this other character, this other persona when she can't even be herself. Which honestly, for the first moment, like I was like, wow, this is stupid as hell. Why are you doing this? Like, come on, you have to understand that you're a hero now. You have these powers. Why would you give them up? Or at least, just say, I'm not ready for these now. Like, come on. But then I realized, like, wait, no. She does have a point. Because, like, the thing is that with every superhero is that you need to have your outside life stabilized. You need to have that outside life, that, that real life persona to be able to steer through to people like, yeah, you're still a regular human being. You can still lead a normal life. And Yolanda is still unable to do that. So just adding Wildcat on top of that, she's just pretty much running away further from, herself. And I don't think that could have been the smartest move for her to do. So she leaves the suit behind, and she heads back home. Her parents are obviously enraged at that. Where'd you go? Like, you're supposed to be at home as soon as school's over. Like, what were you doing? And Yolanda said, stop, hold on. I need to talk to y'all. I know what I did. She said, I know what I did was a stupid mistake. I made the worst mistake possible. I disgraced our family. However, I can't stop running away from being the old Yolanda. I need to go back to her. I love you guys. I just want things to go back to where they were before. I feel like I've learned my lesson. I feel like I've learned a lot in the past few months, and I'm ready to start becoming who I was before. And honestly, if this was your typical superhero CW show, and I'm sorry to make offense to that, but guess what? I've watched a lot of CW shows to know this, where I instantly thought that, okay, maybe it'll be a quick resolution, like, okay, we'll give you a chance. It was not. Her parents just still plainly tell her, like, you disrespected this family. You exposed yourself to the world, and you can't take that back. You destroyed the family function, and you pretty much, like, destroyed our image. And basically they were just not down to hear from her. They were just not down to, like, accept her or re-accept her or anything. And it's honestly a brutal moment because, like, your family, your parents are supposed to be the people, like, no matter what happens in the world, you can always go to them and they'll always love you. And the fact is that she can't even rely on those people in her life. I mean, I think her brother still loves her because the way his reaction was when she left the room was kind of foretelling that, yeah, he still loves his sister. The fact that, you know, her parents are not supporting of her, even after that emotional confession, speaks a lot that the damage has already sunk in pretty deep. And it's going to take a lot more than just a simple, like, you know, declaration of, like, I'm going to change to, like, change their minds. So as Yolanda heads back to her room, tries to begin crying, she sees that Courtney left her the Wildcat suit outside with a note saying that I still need you. And then later that night, she does show up in the Wildcat costume saying, fuck it, I'm going to be the superhero. I'm going to be Wildcat. I'm going to be part of this next generation of heroes. And Courtney sees her outside her window, giving, like, a very great smile. And it's like, Courtney's like, yes, I got the first member. We're on a roll here. And then we got the pack. Because literally all the side characters, and this is the thing I love about this episode, is that I know, oh yeah, I forgot. So there was another moment with Pat. Like, I was so into the Yolanda story that I completely forgot Pat was a part of this. So a little bit later in between this, we have another scene with Pat and the magician's wife. That she's going to leave town. She's got to get away from everything. You know, she's got to start fresh somewhere else. And then she tries to warn Pat that, hey, listen, Blue Valley is not that innocent as you've seen. Like, there's something more evil or going on here. But before she's able to say more of it, she stops dead in her tracks and just leaves Pat, leaving him all sorts of confused. And then so that doesn't really sit well for Pat as well. But then the next day, Pat heads over to the scrapyard to look for stuff for his suit. And then while he's walking, he sees this cat walking across the way, and he's like confused, like there's never a cat here. And then he sees the wife's car beaten up, the cage of the cat like half destroyed. So this is the same cat, and the car is destroyed. So what the fuck happened? We don't know. We honestly don't know, and that's kind of where we end the episode there with kind of like a mini cliffhanger, like what did happen to the wife, and yeah, but anyway, I love this episode so much. I feel like, again, I'm sorry for Pat this week. I really forgot about him, but the Yolanda story was just so good. It was like really. It wasn't the most powerful thing I've seen ever in superhero businesses, but it was a really good story. It really like delve home like some things are just not as easy as you can solve them to be, and some things are just way too much more damaging than you would expect it to be. And I give a lot of, like, this episode really stood out in my books. Like I really dig this episode, and I really hope we get to see more of this. You continue to see her story evolve and see like if the other members of the New Justice Society will also kind of, you know, fit the mold of this. I can't wait to see what's next. I really can't wait. I can't wait for next week. I really can't. But and I'm also curious to see, like, despite like this majorly being a character story episode, I still like the fact they gave us like minor tastes of like to advance the plot a little bit more. So I'm really loving how they're doing this. I'm really loving it, and yeah, I really love it. So overall, I give this episode 2 thumbs up, and yeah. That's going to do it for me, guys. So if you're unaware, this was DC Stargirl episode review from What's in the Tube. I'm sorry, I'm trying to work out a new moniker. Sorry about that. I'm a little rusty, I know. But if you were unaware, this was What's in the Tube from ActionX. If you want to know what we're also doing overall What's in the Tube, well, we're currently on a little bit of a weird transitional process before we get to the new shows later this month. We're doing Perry Mason and Doom Patrol episode reviews later on in the month. But right now we're doing a lot of one-offs. We just put up the Swamp Thing series review just yesterday, so go check that out. We also did we're going to do the High School Musical 2 and 3 reviews on the Saturday time slot. We're going to do a Westworld episode. They're going to transition ourselves to the HBO world. And But if you don't really care about all that, you only care about Stargirl, then we do Stargirl episode reviews each and every Friday after a brand new episode on Monday on DC Universe, the streaming service, and Tuesday nights on the CW, or you can catch it for free on the CW.com or on the app for free. Not a sponsored ad, but guess what? Pay me, CW. I'm kidding. I would gladly be sponsored, but no one wants to sponsor me because I'm a weirdo. But yeah, so we do Stargirl episode reviews every single Friday, so check those out when you finish watching your episode of Stargirl that week. We'll be back next week for another episode, and I think that's gonna do it for me. So again, if you were unaware, this was What's in the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more of What's in the Tube, please subscribe to ActionX on youtube.com/ActionX. I think we have that URL still. Ring the bell for notification when we have the next review live. Like, favorite, share if you want to, but it does really help us out in the long run, as well as follow us on social media to be up to date on when we're posting about stuff. And I'll see you Stargazers next week. Peace out.